guys, and welcome back to The Bright Side. Macy here, the Bright Side Girl, and today I am doing my July book haul. I was doing so good when I first moved into this house because I thought that the area that I moved to just doesn't have as many used bookstores and library bookstores and Goodwills and things like that, but that has not been the case at all, as you guys may have seen from my video like a week or two ago with my YA trading. I have found a YA trading group. I thankfully have been really good and have not purchased anything from that group, but I have been like swapping books, so I've been getting new books that way. I hit up my favorite spot where books are like 4 for $1, and I got like 30 books there. Then there's library book sales at the end of the month which just happen to have really great stuff. And on top of it, last week, one of my favorite used bookstores that's closer to the area that I used to live closed down, which was so sad, and I was really bummed about it, but they had books $5 for a bag, and they put like 10 books in a bag. And there were books that were normally like, they were still used books, but they were books that were normally like $5 to $10, and they were basically selling them for like 75 cents. So I got some things. Now, I have 44 books to share with you today. Some of these I'm going to kind of like speed through just so this video isn't crazy long. I might do 2 book hauls, July part 1 and July part 2, because I have some books that I think that I'm getting soon that I am not going to share yet. But just so you guys don't think I'm crazy, we're going to try and stick July to 1 book haul. So anyway, for those of you that don't know, I have a lot of libraries that have wonderful used bookstores in them that are books that are donated. So they're not like ex-library books. Some of them are, but most of them aren't. So I'm able to get books for incredibly cheap. Otherwise, I would not absolutely have this big of a haul, because I definitely wouldn't be paying like $5 to $25 for books and then get 44 of them. But a lot of these I literally got for a quarter, 50 cents, $1. So that's how I'm able to have so many books. Just a quick explanation. And all of the books that I talk about below down in the comments to Goodreads, so you can just click on that link and then add it to your Goodreads to make it nice and easy for you guys if you're interested. So without further ado, let's get into the haul. Alright, first up, I got Forestborn by Shannon Hale. This is like the 4th book in the Books of Bayern series. It's like fairy tales. I think the first book is like The Goose Girl, so it's like fairy tale, like retellings, princesses and castles and, you know, awesome girls and things like that. I haven't read a Shannon Hale book yet. I want to start with the Princess Academy, but I definitely want to start adding her to my TBR bookshelves. So there you go. Really excited to find this at my local Goodwill. I got a beautiful, never been read copy of Egg and Spoon by Gregory Maguire. Always check your local Goodwills, you guys. I'm a little bit lucky because I live in an area with a lot of people, so I think that people get books as gifts a lot and just immediately donate them, because this one is like brand new and it was so cheap. I have almost all of Gregory Maguire's books. I'm still undecided whether I really like him as an author, because I've only read Wicked and Mirror Mirror so far, but he does fairy tale retellings. This one's kind of a different one. This is like a Russian fairy tale retelling, and this is his only YA book that I know about. So this one I'm really, really excited for. At that same Goodwill, I found World by Jason Segel and Kristen Miller. I started this one on audiobook a while back, but I had to return it to the library, and I really wasn't enjoying it on audiobook as much as I was wanting. This one is like a virtual reality video game that's part of it's real and part of it's not, kind of Ready Player One, Warcross-esque. I really enjoyed Ready Player One, and I was also reading this to see if it was something my brother would like, so I'm going to read this one before the end of the year. Found Queen of Hearts by Colleen Oakes, Alice in Wonderland retelling, adding it to my retelling pile. Through the Zombie Glass by Jenna Showalter. This is like the 2nd or the 3rd book in the White Rabbit Chronicles. Supposedly Alice in Wonderland retellings, but zombie-esque. I've heard through certain booktubers and things that it's actually not really Alice in Wonderland like at all, but I'm kind of curious to like check it out for myself. Plus this book is so cool. Like the end pages are just like super pretty, and so is like the spine and everything. So this is like the 3rd one, and I don't have the rest yet, but I got it really cheap. I got Artemis Fowl, The Opal of Deception by Ian Colfer. I know Artemis Fowl is just a really popular, think it's either younger teen or middle grade series. I've been really into middle grade, more so than usual lately, and this is like a goodie, almost classic. So I'm not sure what number this is in the series, but I'm starting my collection. Then I got the Bone Gap by Laura Ruby. Honestly, don't know anything about this other than it was kind of popular, and I got just a really nice edition of it. I think it's contemporary, I'm not sure. Let me know down below. I got a Barnes & Noble exclusive of Generation 1 by Pittacus Lore. This is like the continuation of the I Am Number 4 series. Honestly, this book is only like a few months old, so that was kind of why I was excited to pick it up for like really cheap. And I am interested in this series. I know it's kind of controversial, but I do want to watch the movie, so I want to read like I Am Number 4 pretty soon, and we'll see if I want to carry on. I got this really cool edition, even though it's paperback, of Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte, and it has like, it's got this rose look on it, and it has like Bella and Edward's favorite book. So, and then on the back there are like Pride and Prejudice and Romeo and Juliet matching ones, I guess. But apparently they came out with like the classics that Bella and Edward liked in Twilight in like a Twilight edition of them, and I don't know, I like nerded out and thought this was really cool. Plus, I do not have Wuthering Heights yet, and I hope to read this for my next year's classic reading. I got Perfected by Kate Jarvik Birch. I had her second book in this series for a while, but I unhauled it because I didn't have this one and I couldn't find it. This one is, I think, kind of dystopian-esque, where like girls are kept and bred like as pets, like if they're really pretty, and like rich people can buy like really pretty girls and like just put them on display. So kind of like creepy, dystopian, futuresque. Yay! I found The Raven Boys. It is a paperback, but it'll be good for just like reading at the beach. By Maggie Stiefvater. I have not read this series, and it's like one of my top priorities for the fall. I'm so excited that I found this because I really didn't want to have to get it from the library. I wanted to like read my own copy, and this is like a really nice edition of it. But anyway, yay! Then I found this really pretty, again, paperback, not my favorite, but it's Jane Austen book, which is Emma, which is my favorite Jane Austen story so far. I think this is the only one that I physically read. I may have read Pride and Prejudice, but I really don't remember. It is one of my all-time favorite movies. I just have really good memories around it, and I really enjoy this book, and I want to reread these like hopefully next year. So we'll start off with this pretty version. Then I got this ex-library edition of Aquarium by David Vann. Honestly, it's a girl that discovers like some kind of special ocean life in an aquarium. I'm thinking this is gonna have some mermaid stuff in it, so we're gonna like save this for the Might Be a Mermaid book video, but that's why I grabbed that one. Then I picked up Denton Little's Death Date. I have seen this book at Barnes & Noble, and that's the only place that I know anything about it, and it just really appealed to me. And the second book looks really cute too. But this one is basically about the future where we have figured out our exact death date. And so Denton Little is 17 and he knows the day that he's going to die. And then there's like, I think this is told all through one day. So the whole day he has to like live it to the fullest because he is going to die at the end of it. But I think this is more like funny and lighthearted, not so much both die at the end style, but more like funny. And it's also got like stuff with the Grim Reaper, and we just finished reading Scythe, and even though that's like I don't think they're similar at all, I'm just kind of been in that weird mood for this kind of a book, and I've looked for it for a while. Then I got In the Afterlife by Alexandra Bracken. I am going to start The Darkest Minds here super soon because I want to go see the movie so bad because it looks awesome, and I've never read this dystopian trilogy. Dystopian kids have superpowers like X-Men dystopian whateverness, and this is the third book, I think, in the Darkest Minds trilogy. I am not, or actually it's a series now, but yeah, I need to get the Darkest Minds because now I have two of them. I got Return to Isle of the Lost, a Descendants novel by Melissa de la Cruz. This is like the third book in the Descendants trilogy, which is based off like a very popular Disney movie about the Disney villains' children. So that was enough to sell me, and this is the last one that I needed, so yay. I got This Shattered World by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. I have their Fractured Light, and I think there's one more in this trilogy, like sci-fi fantasy goodness. So this next pile is the one that I found from the used bookstore that closed down, so I got some really good stuff and I'm excited to share it. So I found After Alice by Gregory Maguire. I'm pretty sure this is the last adult novel that I need from him besides the brand new one that came out about the Nutcracker. So this is an Alice in Wonderland retelling. It's very short. It's very cool. It's got a really nice, interesting cover, and then there's like a map and stuff on it. It's very cool. It's just like super cool. So excited I found that one. I found Evernight by Claudia Gray. This is like a vampire series, I'm pretty sure, and I have two of the other books. And I want to read some more vampire things for fall to see if I actually like vampire things. And I've heard good things about Claudia Gray. Got Enclave by Anne Aguirre. This one's supposed to be super popular, and honestly it's like fantasy, maybe dystopian, not really sure, but I have it like in the back of my head from hearing it somewhere, so picked it up. My first Tamora Pierce book, I got The Will of the Empress. I am assuming this is part of a series, but again, Tamora Pierce is just well beloved in the YA community, and I haven't read anything from her yet. Got A Porson by Garth Nix. This is part of the Sabriel trilogy series. This is like the sequel to Sabriel and Lyriel. So I was really pumped to find this because I haven't found any of his books yet. I got Uglies by Scott Westerfeld because I have wanted to read this. It's like dystopian where people can like change their face to make themselves prettier, and that's kind of how our society is run. But I'm not sure, I can't remember if they're either continuing on with the series or if there's a movie coming out. There's like some hype around it next year and I haven't read it yet. So I finally found the first one, so we're gonna start there. Then the last one I picked up from that bookstore closing was Unwind by Neal Shusterman. I got the third book in this trilogy from my last book haul, and I loved Scythe that we recently read, so another dystopian book. In the future, parents can decide to unwind their children for parts and like take out their organs and like give them to other kids and stuff, like if they decide that they're not good kids, I think by their 18th birthday or something like that, like super like creepy semi-horror dystopian. Or Neal Shusterman, I got Everlost. This is like kids in the woods having to survive. I don't know, I just really liked his writing style from Scythe like so much that I'm like hoarding all the Neal Shusterman books. Found a cheap paperback copy of Red Rising by Pierce Brown. Sci-fi, I think adult sci-fi fantasy, very popular. That's why I picked it up. Dragonfly and Amber by Diana Gabaldon in the big floppy paperback. This and Game of Thrones are the only ones that I really prefer to have because they're too big to read in hardback. I think this is the third or fourth book in Outlander. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm slowly collecting them. I got Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. Classic, one that's been on my list for a little while, plus it's like really short. One of the only dystopian books from this decade. It's about like firemen that actually start fires instead of like stopping them, and they burn all of the books, so there's like no literature or something like that. Really cool. Been wanting to read it for a while. I found an arc of That Inevitable Victorian Thing. This is set in the future where like an alternate future where the British Empire never fell and the United States never rose, and it's like still Victorian but like future-esque, something like that. Sounds really unique and different, and it has a beautiful cover. I got Traitor's Blade and Knight's Shadow by Sebastian de Castile. Look at these covers, oh my gosh. It's like piratey knights, adult fantasy, something like that. I'm sure that these are like heavy on the adult side, so just kind of keep that in mind, but it says it's like a swashbuckling romp, so that sounds cool. I'm really into pirates right now. I got Return to Treasure Island by John O. Melviny Woods. I'm gonna read Treasure Island soon, so I've kind of just, and in general, I've just been grabbing like all the piratey things, so I have no clue if this is good. The only book I spent a decent amount of money on, I spent like $4 or $5 for this. This is Between the Sea and Sky by Jacqueline Delamore. It's a very short mermaid book. A girl that is a mermaid, that becomes a mermaid, that is a siren, that kills people or something. I don't know. But it's on my mermaid list. It's been on there for quite a bit, so I grabbed it when I saw it. Picked up Extras by Scott Westerfeld in a different edition, which is annoying, but whatever. This is the like extra like novella that goes with the Uglies series. I got I Capture the Castle by Adodi Smith, another like classic book about like sisters that are like trying to win their father's house. I could be really off on that, but when I have heard things about it that I can't remember right now, it sounded really neat, and it's like just a classic to add to my TBR. Really excited to find Summer Days and Summer Nights. This is edited by Stephanie Perkins. This is a bunch of authors like Leigh Bardugo, Libba Bray, Cassandra Clare, Lev Grossman, Stephanie Perkins, Veronica Roth, and Jennifer E. Smith, and just love stories like based around the summertime. So we're coming on the edge of summer, so I'm gonna try and like scoot this one in. Picked up Nightbird by Alice Hoffman. I've been wanting to read Alice Hoffman for a while now too. She is the one that wrote Practical Magic, which is one of my favorite movies, and I want to read that one as well. But this is like her children's book, and it's an ex-library, so I need to take the plastic off. But it's so pretty, and it's about like a girl that flies or has wings or something magical and mystical. I found a paperback copy of Paper Towns by John Green for super cheap, so I got it because I haven't read him yet. I found The Murder Complex by Lindsay Cummings. This is about a girl that is like trying to survive when people can like murder each other or something like that. I don't know. It's murdery and creepy and like kind of like dystopian, but also kind of horror-esque, and it looks awesome. I found The Witch's Tears by Catherine Elizabeth Core. This is the second book in the like Witch's Kiss duology or trilogy. I found the first one earlier this year, so adding it to my fall TBR. Two cool ghost story-ish books. I got Classic Ghost Story, Tales of Horror, Mystery, and the Supernatural. I got this for super cheap, and it's got cool illustrations and like different types of tales, like versions of like the Christmas Carol and like Picture of Dorian Gray. I think it's kind of like more like a kid's book, but it looks really awesome and kind of like a good introduction to ghost stories. And then I found Roald Dahl's book of ghost stories. So this is all like short stories from Roald Dahl that are ghost story-esque. And lastly, I found The Ely Tree by Frances Hardinger. This one won some awards and things. I think that I don't know if it's about like Adam and Eve or like a tree that doesn't tell truth. I'm not really sure, but I remember reading a synopsis about it a little while ago and really enjoying it. So, and also look at that cover. Okay, you guys, that is all for my July book haul. Hopefully not part one. I hope you guys hung in there until the end. Let me know if any of these books look interesting to you. Don't forget to check out the description if you want to click to add them to your Goodreads really quickly. And I will see you guys next time on The Bright Side. Bye!